Okay, Jordan, thank you. We have team coverage for you tonight about the weather, the big weather changes we're following. ABC4's Seth Sanders is in Big Cottonwood Canyon tracking current conditions up in the mountains.
But first, let's check in with meteorologist Cedric Haynes in for Alana. He's tracking our forewarned weather right here in studio. Cedric, how are things looking tonight?
Well, it's looking colder and it's looking wetter out there. In fact, if you were out earlier today along the I-15 corridor this evening, you noticed a heavy rain, thunder, lightning, and now that cold air is transitioning some of that rain over to snow in the higher elevations. Let's take a look at the 401 radar now, and you can see, again, we've got that moisture kind of spanning out across the Beehive State, but there are a couple of areas to pay close attention to. So first off, we'll show you where we're seeing some more rain, and some of those thunderstorms from earlier now pushing off to the north and east, up towards Logan, down towards Ogden. Notice we're starting to see a little bit more blue and pink mixing in, an indication that in the higher elevations that's starting to mix with and transition over to some snow. You can see that up close to Bear Lake, just to the south and west of Lake Town, and then as you head on the northeastern side of Ogden there, now starting to see that little bit of that mix taking place. You can see much more in the way of that pink and blue showing up here in the higher elevations around the Wasatch back there. So Alta starting to get back in on some pretty good snowfall coming through just to the east of Heber City, as well as this is lifting over towards where the fire is. Yeah, the Yellow Lake fire is starting to get some of that snow taking place there. And you just look at this and you say from American Fork, Draper, Salt Lake City back south and west, we're getting a little bit of a dry slot. So are things coming to an end? Well, the answer to that question is no. In fact, if you notice, there's that swirl over in Nevada, and notice this moisture getting pumped up from the south and west. So some pretty good rain now from Cedar City over towards Beaver, with some thunder and lightning with that, and that will continue to enhance itself and bring in more moisture this evening, and that will mix with the colder air. That cold air making temperatures about 25 to 30 degrees colder tonight than where they were 24 hours ago, down to 45 in Salt Lake City, 40 in Logan, 38 in Wendover, but it's still 73 in St. George. We've got all these winter alerts in effect, and they do include portions of the higher elevations. Let's get a check on what's going on in the higher elevations right now, and for more on that, we're going to check in with the one, the only, they call him Stormy Sanders on Twitter, but it's our very own Seth Sanders, who is live now at Big Cottonwood now. And Seth, tell us, what are you seeing up there? Are we seeing some snowflakes coming down?
So actually, on our way up, we started seeing rain starting to turn to snow. We even saw a little bit of slush on the roads at about 5,500 feet. But like you were saying, we're kind of in a little bit of a dry slot right now. We do have a little bit of precipitation. It's more of a drizzle right now, a rain-snow mix. You were talking about those cold temperatures. I can't see a whole lot. It's really dark out here, but I can feel a whole lot. I am freezing. I'm trying really hard not to shiver right now so that you guys can understand me clearly. Right now, we're in the Big Cottonwood Canyon. We're at about 7,000 feet, 7,200 feet. Temperatures are in the mid to low 30s. It's going to be a similar story across the mountains. Now, there isn't a whole lot on the ground right now. Even though we did start seeing some snowflakes earlier, we've had about a month of way above average temperatures, and so the ground is really warm, but it is starting to cool down quite a bit. We do even have a little bit of snow in some places, like on the benches, trash cans, where you typically will see it first. But again, we are seeing it on the roads just a little bit. We actually had a police officer stop us while we were setting this whole thing up to let us know that as we get into the later hours, like you said, Cedric, another wave is about to move through, and it could get really ugly really fast, drop visibility, make for slippery conditions. So make sure if you're coming up here, just be safe, make sure that you have the correct equipment, and bring any safety equipment. But before I start to throw it back to you guys, I gotta at least show you a little bit of snow. We gotta have something. So hey, I want you guys to catch this way over there in Salt Lake. Ready? Woo!